Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. What a great day it is to celebrate this event today. My name is Mark Bogan. I'm one of your Broward County Commissioners. But first, before we begin, I think this would be appropriate with the judges in the room. I'd like to ask everyone to all rise. And ask Broward County Administrator, best administrator in the country, Bertha Henry, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. I always wanted to say that in front of a room of judges. Thank you, Bertha. Before we begin our short program, I'd like to recognize some dignitaries who are present today. Actually, everyone here is a dignitary, so I apologize if I'm not saying your name. We only have limited time, but many of the electeds I want to recognize. First is he's an advocate attorney as well as an advocate on behalf of his constituents, a great mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trentalis. Dean. Former senator, she's a county commissioner, Nan Rich. Our public defender, Gordon Weeks. Our state attorney, Harold Pryor. Our great clerk of court, Brenda Foreman. We have our former mayor, Jack Seiler. I saw Jack. The president of the Broward Bar, Jamie Bascom. Jamie. And the executive director, Berlio Rosa. I'd also like to thank, this took years in the making, and so I'd like to thank a group of people with the county that worked on this in one way or another for many years. First, I want to thank probably one of the better or best attorneys in Broward County, if not the state of Florida. He's our county attorney, Drew Myers. Where's Drew? Thank you, Drew. I also want to give much thanks to the Broward County Public Works Department, the Facilities Management Division, Construction Management Division, the Office of Public Communications, Kimberly Moreau, Enterprise Technology Services, Kim Campbell, Bertha and her administration, and my staff, Wally and Ron, who have been helping out as well. Thank you, everybody. I will introduce everybody here one at a time as they speak, but the number of judges who have come here today and have sent their well wishes is so impressive, and it's a tribute to the man we're here to honor today, and that's Chief Judge Jack Tuter. So, this courtroom is roughly a little more than 3, maybe 4 times the size of the other courtrooms in this building, and it was custom designed to hold special high-profile criminal court cases, ceremonial functions such as robing ceremonies and other events. In the past, we looked at this building. It's a beautiful new courthouse, but the problem was we had no real accommodations for large events or high-profile cases. So several years ago, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, it could have been many years, Judge Tuter talked to me about, let's do something on the 17th floor. If you would have been here a couple years ago, there was nothing on the 17th floor. And he wanted to have a special courtroom for large events, complex trials, for different events that would be appropriate for here for Broward County. I liked the idea. I took it back to our Broward County commissioners, and after some discussion, and with the help of the commissioners who are even here today, Tim Ryan and Steve Geller and Nan Ridge and others, we made it possible. We passed it to make this courtroom possible. Judge Tuter, this is your courtroom, and very much deserved with the commitment, dedication, and duty that you've given to the judicial system. Your career and admiration of your peers speaks volumes. From circuit judge to administrative judge to serving now as chief judge, your history tells the story of why we're here today. And I hope everybody picked up one of these brochures. And to show our appreciation, I asked my fellow county commissioners to waive the current rules. I asked them to waive the current rules and name this courtroom after you. And with the support of our commissioners and the community, we proudly stand here today in the Jack Tuter Complex Trial Courtroom. legacy that will be forever in tribute to your service. And with that, I would like to recognize one of my fellow county commissioners, Tim Ryan, who's also the chair of the Broward County Courthouse Task Force.
Commissioner Bogan, that's the Broward County Courthouse Construction Task Force. It's easier with the acronyms. It's a real pleasure to be here. And as we look at this courtroom, and it's really awe-inspiring. But I hope that this courtroom is not just used for complex trials, because for many, every trial is complex, especially for me. And when you get up there and you're not fully prepared, it can be quite a heavy lift. But I think it's important, of course, you're going to be the gatekeeper, Chief Judge, but I think that every judge and every clerk, every prosecutor, every public defender, all that work in the courthouse have an opportunity to try a case in this courtroom. A real asset like this is best understood if it's best used. So I look forward to the day where we'll have maybe some young girl, some young boy will be in this courtroom, and it will be so inspired as to pursue this lofty goal of the practice of law, and justice will be served. And I'm very grateful that this is being named after you, Chief Judge, and all the best health to you and your family. Thank you.
We're going to make this quick and short, okay? I would like to now introduce the Honorable Dorian DeMorgian, friend and colleague of Jack Tuter, 4th District Court of Appeal. Would you please come on?
Thank you, Commissioner, for giving me this opportunity to speak and introduce one of my dear friends. But before I do, I'd like to acknowledge all of the judges in the room, some former colleagues of mine, the circuit judges and county judges present. I see former colleague and now United States District Court Judge Rag Singhal. Welcome back, Rag. And one of my mentors and good friends, former Chief Judge Victor Tobin, and next to him, former Chief Judge Peter. I guess when you're retired, you get to wear sneakers to events like this. That's great. Today we honor a man who I consider probably one of my best friends, and a confidant and a colleague, Jack Tuter. I first met Jack almost 2 decades ago. When he was appointed to the circuit court, he was assigned to the family division, and I was sitting in felony criminal, and we hit it off pretty quickly. And early on I realized the greatness of the man. As I like to say, he has all the right stuff. And what am I referring to? I'm referring to things like integrity beyond reproach, superior intellect, tempered with common sense. He has keen instincts, and he has an unwavering commitment to equal justice for all. But there's more to Jack. He does the little things right, the things that every judge should do. He shows up on time. He never walks into a courtroom unprepared. He's extremely respectful to everyone that enters his courtroom, no matter their status, their economic situation. Everybody gets treated the same. And perhaps most importantly, he renders timely, thoughtful decisions. It's those qualities, I think, that have prepared Jack for all of the adversity that he's experienced, particularly in the last 2 years with COVID. The former head of Ford Motor Company and ultimately Chrysler Corporation, Lee Iacocca, famously said, "Some guys lead, some guys follow, and some guys get out of the way." Well, Jack Tuter never got out of the way of a problem, and he never followed, but he always has led. As I mentioned, COVID created a number of challenges. The finishing of the construction of the building, dealing with juvenile issues, dealing with the homeless situation, dealing with our veterans and some of the issues that they had with respect to receiving justice in this building. Jack never turned away from a problem, and he never will. Now, I know at this particular moment, Jack's whispering in my ear, all right, listen, that's enough. I've got some work I've got to do this afternoon, so stop talking. But you know, that's the thing about Jack. He never talks about himself, and he certainly doesn't want other people waxing philosophical about what a wonderful person he is. So I'm going to honor his request by being brief. But I will conclude my remarks with the following. I know of no individual more deserving of this honor than Jack Tuter. His name being displayed across the entry of this Hall of Justice reminds us all of our commitment to the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to introduce to you Chief Judge Jack Tuter.
We're going to first have former state senator, my fellow commissioner, he just finished being mayor, issue a proclamation for Judge Tuter. You want to stand up, Judge?
Should I rise again?
Before I read the proclamation, I would like to thank, and think we should all thank, Commissioner Mark Bogan, who was responsible for today. And as Commissioner Bogan said, I was mayor of Broward County up until Tuesday. As such, during the bulk of the COVID crisis, I was mayor, and Judge Tuter and I worked on a regular basis together and communicated on a regular basis, and he was absolutely a pleasure to work with. Accordingly, I would like to now read a proclamation requested by Steve Geller. Whereas Chief Judge Jack B. Tuter has served as the Chief Judge of the 17th Judicial Circuit since 2017 and has served on the circuit since 2005. And whereas Chief Judge Tuter has had a long and distinguished career in both private practice and public service. After graduating from the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law in 1982, Chief Judge Tuter worked at several law firms, rising to partner. In 2002, he was appointed director of the Division of Alcoholic Beverages and Tobacco of the state of Florida and was responsible for the enforcement of alcohol and tobacco laws throughout the state. In 2005, he was appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Jeb Bush and was reelected in 2008 and 2014. In 2017, he was elected as Chief Judge of the 17th Circuit Court. And whereas Chief Judge Tuter strongly believes in creating a civic society and has organized an Informed Voters Project Day at the courthouse, a program which educates high school students about judicial elections. And whereas Chief Judge Tuter was instrumental in ensuring that the courthouse remained functional throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, working tirelessly with volunteer bar organizations to educate attorneys about the new procedures, best practices, and administrative changes. And whereas the complex trial and ceremonial courtroom on the 17th floor of the Broward County Judicial Complex has been renamed in honor of Chief Judge Tuter in recognition of his long career of dedicated service to Broward County. And whereas Chief Judge Tuter is an all-around good guy. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Broward County that the board hereby designates Friday, November 19th, 2021 as Chief Judge Jack B. Tuter Day in Broward County, Florida, and thanks Chief Judge Tuter for his distinguished service to Broward County, and signed by me while I was mayor.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I really want to thank you all for coming out in the dismal weather to be here with us today. If the worst that happens after you've been a judge for a bunch of years, a politician describes you as an all-around good guy, I think you probably made your mark because the job tends to say that you're a genius half of the time and you're an incompetent the other half of the time. There are a lot of people in the room, I can't name all of you, who helped me get to where I'm at here today. And Dorian said one thing that I think most of my colleagues know. I do not like to talk about myself in public forums. It's not why I became chief judge. It's not why I became a judge. And so today I'm kind of stretched to say a little bit about that. I came here after I got a law license in 1983 in a 1979 Honda Prelude. Now, I didn't know a single person in the state of Florida. I mean, I didn't know one single person. I rented a hotel somewhere over there on Federal Highway and went to the law library and started interviewing for jobs. And I was lucky enough to have 2 or 3 great jobs in my career, all of which helped me prepare to be a judge. But there's so many people in this room who helped me. Bill Scheer is one of them. Bill's one of those lawyers that when he tells you he's going to do something, he does it. He doesn't shy away from issues. So I don't think I'd be standing here without Bill. And I mean, it's easy to say, his longtime friendship with Jeb Bush. I mean, that didn't hurt any at all. But as to the other people in the room, Kathy Pugh and Joe and Lonnie and my longtime judicial assistant Mercedes and Joe, who's in the back, who I work with every day. I couldn't work with a better group of people. It's, when I became chief judge, Vic Tobin told me, if people present to you a really good idea, then you need to steal it and take credit for it. and so many people, including my staff, people who I work with, come up with really good ideas. And it's not just me making decisions. Someone has to make the final decision, but I enjoy working with these folks every single day. I did want to recognize my colleague who also, I don't think I'd be standing here without, shook a lot of hands and kissed a lot of judges to get me chief judge, Peter Weinstein, who's here in the front row. But I just want to recognize a few people from the county. Mark Bogan, who's been steadfastly a friend of mine since I became a judge. We didn't know each other at all. When he became a commissioner, I was still a judge at the time. And Tim Ryan and Mayor Geller and Nan Richards on the front row, and all the folks on the county commission who I consider to be my friends. I've said in these public forums many times, we don't realize how generous our county is to the court system. The state is stretched to the limit to give us what they are able to give us. I don't know how many, even my colleagues know that they fund and just funded, Bertha just signed off on it the other day, 34 employees who work in the court system that are paid for by the county that are invaluable to us dispensing justice and getting the job done every day. So I just can't thank my friends on the commission for their generosity and goodwill towards the court system. And I guess I need to say a word about Bertha. I didn't know Bertha very well until I became chief judge. What can I say about Bertha? She is just one of the most magnanimous personalities. I mean, for a person who has to run the seaport, and run the airport, and put up with 7 county commissioners every day of her life. Nine? Okay, I forgot about the other 2. 9 county commissioners. I'm going to miss my tenure working, and I think most of the county commissioners will too, working with Bertha. Bertha's going to retire, I think, in March, right? February? She is, she's been just an invaluable asset to this county for many, many years. She knows where, there's nothing you can't talk to Bertha about that she doesn't have some knowledge about. So Bertha, on behalf of everybody here in the room, we thank you for your service, and I enjoy very much working with you. When the architects and the people, some of them who are here today, asked me about this courtroom, and what, if anything, I wanted special in the courtroom. This was long before we had any of this naming ceremony stuff. Asked me what I wanted, if there was anything specific I wanted, and I only said that I wanted them to dispatch somebody to West Palm Beach and take some measurements at the 4th District Court of Appeal courtroom and make sure this courtroom is at least 2 or 3 feet larger than that. And as you see, we have successfully completed that. Even Judge Tuter is reluctantly agreeing that we built a courtroom bigger than a courtroom that's dedicated to 3 judges work up there. So thanks to the architects and all the people. I mean, they started construction on this building really in the summer when we were still in COVID, and they had it completed by October. So many thanks to those folks who spent tireless hours, and to my colleagues who were able to try jury trials with all of the noise resonating over all the floors while this was going on. There were many calls and emails to me to stop the construction, but I knew I was going to be named at that time, so I said, let's stop the construction. So I didn't let that happen. I also need to thank, I see our BSO friends at the back there, Ozzy and his group of people. I think we all forget that nobody could come to work in this building any day of the week, no matter what I ordered or what we said, without the sheriff's office and the chief 4S guards who run the scanners in the lobby to keep this building going. Because whether you like it or don't like it, there are some angry customers who leave this courthouse day in and day out. And so our friends at BSO are an invaluable asset to us all. And lastly, before I sit down, the folks I really recognize, many of whom were in this room that I've seen and shaken their hands earlier this morning, are my colleagues. 2017, 89, and myself, I guess 90 of us went and voted. Without their vote recognizing me to be the chief judge, I would be standing here. None of this would have happened. And so I owe a lifetime debt of gratitude to my colleagues in the 17th Judicial Circuit for electing me chief judge and allowing me to do this job. I read in an article, Rog, they were talking to this fancy chief judge for the federal district in, I don't know, some fancy circuit where they had 100 judges, and they were interviewing him about his job, and he said that he could not do his job day in and day out, no matter what decisions he made, without the trust and confidence of his colleagues. Because at the end of the day, it is the colleagues and the confidence from the people who elected me to back the decisions we make that generate the ability to be a chief judge in a large circuit like ours. So in closing, I want to again thank everybody for coming, thank my colleagues, thank my friends on the county commission, and thank everybody who came today.
We got a couple quick things we're going to do. First, we're going to do a cutting of the ribbon. I'll take a quick picture, and then there's food and refreshments out for everybody. So the five of us, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Rich to come up for a cutting of the ribbon, and let's do that real quickly.
Yeah. Let's move down, sir. These are not real scissors.
All right, don't start early.
Tell me what we're supposed to do. Okay, tell me when. Hold it up on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Hold on. Let's do a quick picture. That's for the judge.
Bertha, come up here and get a picture. Bertha, come up here. Come here and get a picture.
Ronnie.
Mayor.
Tim. Okay?
Thank you.
More and more sugar and sweet as we head towards February.
How you doing, Judge? I'm all right, sir. How are you?
Elementary, middle, and high
How are you?
Can I have everyone's attention, please? Park in each garage. Your parking ticket will be validated as you're walking out. It's a validation machine by the VSO.
And it's Harold. And it's Harold.